Charlie McGrath is the founder of WideAwakeNews.com, joins us now to give us his take on the situation in Ukraine. So sources from the interim prime minister's party have been saying there was an emergency meeting reportedly focusing on possibly outlawing the right sector. They add that the leader of another far-right party, Svoboda, Oleg Tyahnybok, took part. Do you think we're seeing a rift now among this opposition group that came together to form this new government?
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing a rift because it was formed by the hand, at least in my personal opinion, of the West. This is what you get when you have 60 programs led by quasi-government agencies that the American taxpayer paid for to destabilize Ukraine, and you have a neo-Nazi government put into place, and you have this far-right sector, or the right sector coming out and demanding the resignation of the Interior Minister. You know, it plays like a bad drama on television. And we need to realize that the United States, the West, had a very, very key hand in destabilizing Ukraine. American citizens understand your tax dollars went to pay for this debacle, and that led to this bloodshed that we're seeing now. And will continue.
The U.S. taxpayers, though, went to pay for perhaps some of the behind-the-scenes action, but surely they didn't pay for the corruption that was initially the instigation of it. I mean, no. Yanukovych didn't basically helped it happen then.
No, yeah, not saying that there isn't bad actors involved on the West, on the East, and in the middle. There's absolutely plenty of evidence for that. My point is simple. The U.S., the West, NATO, the International Monetary Fund, the European Union that is so desperate to get their clutches on Ukraine could absolutely share the burden of the blame for this current situation that we're in. Ukraine's a mess. There's no doubt about it. But the fact that we are spending billions of dollars to foment the hostility should be an affront to every person listening to this broadcast.
What do you think was spurred the Rada members, the parliament members, to very quickly accede to the demands of the protesters at the gates?
Because they don't want to be drug out and murdered on YouTube. They don't want to be the next Muammar Gaddafi that said, you know, we saw he died. So they're absolutely looking at this right sector and this movement by the neo-Nazis. Who knows? Maybe this is the Reichstag moment for the new neo-Nazi party in Ukraine.
Isn't that a little alarmist, though? I mean, we had several MPs going out onto the steps of the Rada to address the protesters. Nothing bad happened to them, and the crowd eventually kind of broke up and went home. Do you think they would really resort to that level of violence?
Is this alarmist? Come on, man. You cover Ukraine every single day. There's people dying in the Ukraine. There's Russia pitted on one side against the West on the other side. This could easily escalate into massive amounts of bloodshed. And you know, the fact that it's not getting more coverage should shock everybody again who's listening to this broadcast. This is a powder keg that has been generated, in my opinion, again, by the meddling of the West.
So we have the right sector declaring that they'll show up again tomorrow morning for a protest that they promise will be peaceful. They say they want the Interior Minister to step down, full stop. Do you think they will just pack up and go home once they've achieved that, if it happens?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And they didn't say they just wanted the Interior Minister to resign or to be fired. You know, they went on to say that they want him to face a full tribunal. And if you read through the lines, you know, and as we often do when we're listening to far right-wing propaganda, that, you know, that could very easily be the assassination of this Interior Minister is the ultimate goal. So, no, of course not. They're not going to stop. They are driven to occupy the positions of power in Ukraine, the far right sector.
All right. Charlie McGrath, founder of Wide Awake News. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.